Okay, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
It's time!
Welcome back to a special night. Tonight, again, is the monthly cybersecurity night. We will be joining Socks in about 20 minutes, more or less. But, we like to get the party started early over here. So we will, we're going to get started. We are going to, do what we normally do. Go through our agenda. Thank all the newest subscribers. As you can see on the screen right now, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, like the video, share the video, put in your cybersecurity questions into the chat or comments as well. Put it in the chat, and then we will make sure that they get asked and answered on the stream. All right. Which reminds me, let me pull up the questions on my end as well. But before I go any further, if you do not know who I am yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph. And in case you didn't know, we are engineered to win. That's what we do here, because
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
exactly right now and forever addicted to winning. Because once again,
I mean, all we do is win, man. You know that.
that's all we can do. All right. So let me get my questions up so I can be prepared for when we join Socks. Had to make sure we had all our questions lined up properly. So, all right. There we go. Got it. All right. So let's go to our agenda before we get started. So first and foremost, I want to thank every last person who hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And I want to thank everyone who is tuning in now, viewing the cybersecurity Q&A night. I am just the host. I will be asking the questions of Socks. He is the star of the night. So shout out to Socks. We will be joining him very soon. And I want to give a special shout out to my tech barbarians who are killing the game. We are actually building software. And with that software that we're building, they will be able to put it on their resumes and they will be able to speak about it confidently in an interview, right? Because my goal is to give all of my tech barbarians the necessary experience that they need as they transition into their respective roles. So with that being said, if you want to level up your technical skills, your resume, prepare for interviews, then go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. Join the Tech Barbarians. All right? And if you haven't done so yet, like I said, hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you can know every single time we go live, every time we release a new video. I've released so many videos on cybersecurity this week, right? And as you can see from the slideshow, there's more coming out as well. All right? So like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. So let's get into our live show schedule. So Sunday afternoons, we have software explorations. We are continuing to go through Terraform. And you might like with Terraform, like, we're configuring virtual private networks. So that's like, there's so many different parts of AWS that are that are related to cybersecurity, whether it's creating and that video that I released for a month ago about the identity and access management, that video is killing it. So many people have reached out to me like, oh, how can I find out more about this role? How could I get into this role? Right. So that video is killing it. And, I'm responding. And, so as we go through Terraform, it is finding ways to configure our security stuff, but in an automated fashion that you can just run a script and then it just does all this little setup for you. Boom, 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 boom. Right. So we are learning that. We're getting more familiar with that. We're going through it. All right. So Sunday afternoons, software explorations, currently going through Terraform. We start that show at 2:15 p.m. Eastern time. Tuesday nights. Tonight, it is our Q&A night, but we have a special Q&A night tonight for cybersecurity. Like I deemed it, is Cybersecurity Week. So tonight is going to be cybersecurity, but every other Tuesday we are doing our Q&A where I find questions and I answer them for you. Tuesday nights we start at 7:15 p.m. and Eastern time, of course. And on Thursday nights we have more software explorations. If you didn't see the slide this morning, or what am I saying? It's like this today. This whole week has been super long, right? If you did not see the slide in the intro, we will be doing some SEAM. What does SEAM stand for? I can never remember, right? I know what it is, but I never remember. I spelled it wrong. Security Event and Incident Management, right? So we are going to be setting up this coming Thursday the open source logging tool, right, to log the events called Grafana. It's from my understanding, it's similar to Splunk, is similar to Sumo Logic, but it is open source. So we're going to be using Docker to set it up, right? We're going to be using the Chaos Camp Rock Paper Scissors, project. So the logs that are triggered from that can go into our Grafana, and then we can log into Grafana and see what's going on. Do you see how everything comes together, right? Do you see how everything comes together? Because when I start up the rock, paper, scissors challenge, I can see the logs in the console, but we want to output that to another area because if there's errors, if there's warnings, if there's info, we want to be able to see that, track it. And so we're going to work on configuring that. We're going to work on starting it up. So we're going to use Docker. We're going to use the rock, paper, scissors challenge. We're going to use Python. And we're going to implement it and see if we can see the logs going into there, right? So that is what we're going to be doing this coming Thursday night's software exploration. So you don't want to miss it, all right? You definitely don't want to miss it, especially if you are interested in cloud security engineering, all right? So, and then we have our morning shows, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7:15 a.m. Eastern time. And I call that show Coffee and Kata. Kata stands for self-practice. It's used in like martial arts, right? But we apply it to our, stimulating our mind for software development, software engineering, QA, stuff like that. So, normally we're going through the rock, paper, scissors challenge. And then on Friday we do the Git challenge or the learning Git branching. But this week we're going through the CTFs, which are currently kicking our butt. Oh my God, those CTFs are hard as hell. But, if we want to get better, we just have to keep going through it. I'm going to try to watch some stuff tonight to see how I can get better at it so I don't look like an idiot on tomorrow's stream, on tomorrow morning stream, So luckily nobody's watching those streams, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to try to get some more insight into that. So that is our morning shows, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7:15 a.m. Eastern time. So if you are up early, because I've seen Sharon, who's up early, have to take the kids to school. So checking in. I've seen Drew checking in. I've seen Socks checking in early in the morning. I'm like, wow, you guys are up this early. I forgot people were up that early. But guess what? I appreciate you for being up that early with me. All right. So thank you so much. So let me run down the live show schedule one more time. Sunday afternoons, software explorations. We're going through Terraform. Tuesday nights, Q&A sessions like we have tonight. And Thursday nights, we have software explorations. We're going to be installing Grafana and configuring that this coming Thursday. And Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we have the morning show, Coffee and Kata, where we review some news information and some coding challenges, all right? So you pick your poison, you join whichever show or all of them. If there's one that you prefer over the other, then join that. If you like all of them, then you are more than welcome, all right? Now, let's get into our pre-recorded content. Mondays, we have Candid Conversations. Shout out to the Candid Conversations, because the way that I come up with those, I'll be just, minding my own business, chilling, and then I see something on LinkedIn and it's like the bat symbol comes up. Ask Andrew, I sent him the bat symbol yesterday, right? I see the bat, I'm like, oh my God, is this serious? Like, are we really doing this? And then I just start feeling some type of way and I just talk about it, right? I just talk about it and I just let it be known that this is what I see. This is what you say, but this is what I see. All right. So that is the Candid Conversations. And then Wednesdays, we have Software Explorations. And as you've seen me mention like 3 times already, tomorrow, and you know what? I'm going to do this right now because tomorrow, I'm going to schedule it right now. Tomorrow, we are releasing, by we, I mean me, I am releasing the Cloud Security Engineer video. And that will it's going to be just like the Identity and Access Management video, engineer video, but it's going to be about cloud security engineering. And we're going to break it down, find out what it is, who does it, what are the qualifications, what certifications do you need, how does your job look like, what technologies? Oh my God, there's so many different technologies that you're going to need for that. Right. And then, we talk about we give some examples, some scenarios that you might be using in there. And then we talk about what you want to hear most, right? What are the salary expectations for a cloud security engineer?
Money.
I know that's what you're saying, right? Because you do not want to be saying,
I'm in a bind, Nate.
And maybe being a cloud security engineer will prevent you from ever having to say that. All right. So that is the plan. All right. So see, I get carried away sometimes. Let me finish scheduling this. Let me set up the premiere. And which premiere should I set up for this? I'm going to go with cinematic. Yeah, let's go with cinematic. That one sounds fun. All right. So the premiere is scheduled. You should see that popping up in your feed any minute now. So once you see it, go ahead, click on it, hit the notification bell so you can know when it premieres. And while you do that, go ahead and like the video as well, because you do not want to miss that one. It is going to be epic. To believe that. All right. So with that being said, let's go to, and then Friday. See, I get so carried away sometimes, right? So, and then Fridays, we have the bug bite. Like this coming Friday, right? I tried to get away from 23andMe's breach, but they keep pulling me back. I read an article about how companies companies like that who get breached should suffer the death penalty. Yes, the death penalty. And I'm like, are you serious? So how do I feel about that? I don't know. Do I think they should do I think they should suffer the death penalty, or are we victim blaming here? So let's find out on Friday's episode of the Bug Bite. And throughout the week, sometimes I release shorts, but every single day, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, I release clips from the Q&A show. So like from this show tonight, right? I release clips that you can get these bite-sized answers. They're about 5 to 10 minutes, right? And this week has been special because I've been releasing 2 clips a day from last month's Cybersecurity Q&A. So from November's Q&A, I've been releasing 2 clips, right? One at 10 a.m. and one at 3 p.m. So I already feel like asking you right now the questions that we always ask at the end of the night, but I cannot do that yet because it is not time. It is not time. So with that being said, let's run down our pre-recorded shows one more time. So Mondays, Candid Conversations. Wednesdays, Software Explorations, Concepts and Overviews. Don't miss tomorrow's. Already hit the notification bell on that one because we're going to be talking about cloud security engineering. All right. And Fridays, we have the bug bite. And then throughout the week, sometimes release shorts. I can't promise you on the shorts because I can't stand them. But we do have Monday through Fridays. We have clips from the Q&A show. So give it up for our live shows and our pre-recorded content. I tell you, there is something for everyone, all right? So, with that being said, if you haven't done so yet, well, before that, if you haven't done so yet, go check out Socks' YouTube channel, right? Subscribe to his channel, hit his notification bell, because let's get him to 50 if he's not there yet, right? I want Socks to get to 50. I want him to get to 500,000 because the information that he gives out is gold. And we're going to be joining him in about 8 minutes, all right? So let's continue. And I'm going to say, right, because as I mentioned, we're going to be using the rock, paper, scissors challenge on Thursday to integrate it into Grafana to have like our log tracking. So what I want you to do as well is go check out the Chaos Camp GitHub, right? Go check out the Chaos Camp GitHub so that you can see the different QA coding challenges that we have in there, and that you can level up your technical skills, right? You say you want to get better in QA. Well, go challenge yourself. You're not going to get better just by sitting there and looking at your thumbs. You know? So let's go do something about it, all right? And as I mentioned with Socks, check out his roadmap to getting into cybersecurity, all right? It's good stuff, all right? So with that being said, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel, to this channel, right? Hit that little button right there. And hit the notification bell so you can know when we go live, when we drop new content, because it is a lot of content, right? Like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. If you haven't done so yet, check out the Patreon. You can sign up for free. And I'm putting new information in there all the time. I think tomorrow I have I guess a post, an article, whatever you want to call it, where I am sharing the top not so technical courses that you should take so that you can be job ready. Because, okay, you guys are taking your boot camps, you know how to code, you know how to do QA, you know how to do DevOps, whatever the hell you know how to do, right? But do you know how to work within a team? Do you know how to practice Agile and Scrum? Do you know what a sprint review is? Do you know what a sprint retrospective? Do you know what a stand-up is? Do you even like participate in stand-ups, right? Do you know how to use Jira? Do you know how to use Git, right? All those things that they probably don't teach you in your boot camp, you need to know that to be job ready, because you know, just because you get part like a quarter of the education doesn't mean that anybody has to take a chance on you. Because if you don't know how to do the other stuff, I don't want to teach you that. Well, on the job, I don't want to teach you that. But if you come and hang out with me in the Patreon, then I have no problem teaching you that, right? So I'm releasing a post that talks about the top courses that you can take, and that one is available to everyone as long as you are a member, even a free member of the Patreon. And yesterday, I put a video where I was talking about some key, like the number 1 and 2 question that you need to ask yourself before you put anything on your resume. If you cannot answer those 2 questions, then it's not worth putting it on your resume. Get it out of there. All right. So, and that is for the members of the Patreon, but I do give the first 2 minutes of the video. So you'll get what the question is, but you won't get the context and the breakdown. But for free, you'll sign up for it, and you get the first 2 minutes of that video, and you find out what I'm talking about. And then if you want to hear more about it, feel free to sign up for any tier, you know? So that is the plan. All right. So how do you like them apples, right? How do you like them apples? All right. Let me check the chat real quick. All right. I have Green KC in the chat. Yes, sir. Where's my chat? Hold on. What's going on here? Why is it not showing up? This is unacceptable. Let's see. All right. Let me fix that right quick. Let's see here. Do that. Let's try that again. There we go. We got Green KC in the chat. What's up to you as well? Happy to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. And you get a.
I appreciate you.
All right. So we have about 4 minutes before we join Socks, right? So before we join Socks, I want to talk about this real quick, right? I was listening to Robert C. Martin. They call him Uncle Bob. He has been programming since 1964. Yes, he has, but he is an inspiration to me. I was listening to his speech, his talk, whatever you want to call it, right? His presentation on expecting professionalism. Yes, expecting professionalism. How to be professional in the software development, software engineering, IT industry, because they take everyone seriously. Why don't they take us seriously, right? So we have to set standards for ourselves. We want to do better, right? And one of the first rule. What do you think the first rule was of of professionalism, right? It was we as software developers, software engineers, QA engineers, whatever it is that our role is in IT, we will not ship crap. And he used a little bit more colorful words than that, but we should make a vow today, right now, that we will not ship crap. All right? We are going to, we're not going to knowingly, because we're in a rush or trying to do something like that. Let's not wait to the last minute. Let's do our best. Let's produce great and acceptable software, right? And let's stick to our deadlines. Let's properly estimate, like we were talking about last Thursday. I think it was last Thursday. How to properly estimate, giving right timelines. So there's so much to talk about. But we're running out of time. We're gonna join Socks. But I just wanted to share that one, right? We are not going to ship crap to our customers because we are a representation of our code. That's to me, that's the first thing, right? I care about the customer satisfaction. I care about the company, but I don't want to ship crap, right? I want to be a proper representation and a reflection of my work, So that is the plan. All right, we are about to join Socks in about 2 minutes, but let's read from Green KC. Says, "Thank you, Coach. Glad to be here. You always are a wealth of knowledge to listen to." That is so kind of you. Thank you so much, Green KC. That means a lot to me. And I appreciate you being here, and love to talk to you guys. But we're gonna go join. Let me see if Socks is ready. All right, let me join the back room, and then once he's ready, we'll get the party. Oh my God! Is it really him? Is that you, good guy? Is that? Hold on one second. Is that
good guy?
Hey, it is good guy. What's up, good guy? Where you been, buddy? It's been a busy week, all right? It's been a busy week. I still got you. We're still working, all right? We're still working. But happy to see you, good guy. All right, let's see if Socks is ready by any chance. Let me join the back. He is almost ready. All right, so here we are. Let's keep talking until he is ready to rock and roll. So, and now he's gone. Okay. So let's see. But yeah, so I think it is. I was gonna play a little piece of that video, but there's no time for that. So what I'm gonna do, right? I am going to put a link to the video in the chat. And then maybe on Thursday, we will review a piece of that video. There's a part as a QA engineer that I really, really want to talk about. And we are ready to go. Hold on. Let me make sure that we're good with Socks, right? Hold on, everyone.
I'm sorry, I'm having a
All right, everybody. We are going to join Socks right about now. Give me just half a second to make sure we are good. And let's go here. And we are golden. All right, let's do this. And we are live with Socks. All right, here we are. So, what do we got tonight, Socks?
We got a myriad of questions, comments, all sorts of things that's surrounding people being interested in finding out those quick and simple answers when regarding the entry of cybersecurity.
Nice. I like to hear that. So, let's see. Where are we starting from? Right. So, I see you have the questions lined up in StreamYard. I also have my document as well that I can
Awesome.
make sure that I'm getting the right questions asked. So, let's see. All right, cool. There we are. So, are you ready to go?
I am ready to rock and roll.
All right. So, let me put my timer up because you know how we can go on and on and on if we're not like stopped. So, where's my
Indeed.
timer? Hold on a second. Where's my timer? Hold on. Countdown timer. All right, there we go. Timer is up. And we're going to do 3 minutes again?
We are going to do as many minutes that you want.
All right, let's go to 3 minutes. We'll go a little over, but at least we'll have some kind of barrier to keep them at like 5 minutes so I can clip them up. All right. So
Cool.
let's do it like this. Let me go ahead and pull up the first question on the stream. All right. And I will read it from I'll read it from my document here because it'll be easier to see that way. Okay. So let's start off like this, right?
Another one.
All right. The question is, this question is actually like 2 months old because it was my good friend Leanne who asked it, but we didn't answer like all of them because there are so many questions. So this first question is, right, are there things such as frameworks, program languages, or on-the-job training, etc., that QAs, quality assurance engineers, or analysts, or whatever type of quality analyst you are, can that they can learn or do that are applicable for cybersecurity?
So, I gotta give a shout out to Leanne because she always has some really amazing questions, and she always stays engaged. I don't know. I believe she's one of your members that comes from your channel, which is you have some really quality people that's operating over there. But let's talk really quickly. When we're talking about when I think about QA, right? I think about the ability for attention to detail because QA skills require people to be very meticulous in their application of things, right? We also, when we start talking about programming and learning different languages, um, I think that Python, just not because it's a superior programming language, it's object oriented, but just for the pervasiveness of it within the field of not only cybersecurity, but it just being kind of one of those really nice to haves and very much talked about that may help a person that's getting involved or that's transitioning from QA into the cyber role, may be able to add some benefit. WASM, that's WebAssembly language or WebAssembly. That is like C for web, and those things could help us better further our protection or our customization for environments that need to be secured. Go is another thing that's really it's because of the prolific nature of Go and how effective it is. We find all sorts of different use cases for it. But at the end of the day, the best language that you can learn is the language of teamwork. And I think before you got into this stream, on your other stream, you were talking about the ability for people to be relatable and work as a team. if we are not very good at our interpersonal skills and really understanding how we add value to the team collectively, not as an individual, we tend to fall off. And some job training. I mean, I can't speak to a specific job training that says, hey, if you're a QA person, take this training, because you, like most other cyber professionals, are different. You guys come from a lot of different walks of life. So I would say identify whatever work role that you're going after or whatever organization that you're going after. Learn a little bit more about the direction or what they're trying to solve for, and then focus in on those type of skill sets and the development they're in.
Cool. Yeah, I agree with all of that. Like, learning the language like Python. I think that's probably one of the easier ones to learn. So that would be a good thing to get started in. I would say too, right? Because doing the CTFs, right? I can see a lot of QA in that, but it's also hard as hell, right? So, because I'm like, man,
Hard? What you mean? What do you mean hard?
like I research and I search for bugs and stuff like on a daily basis, right? But this is a whole new ball game. So I think that doing the CTFs is a great opportunity to get your mind around like not necessarily bug searching, right? But vulnerability searching. Critical thinking, but also searching for vulnerabilities, because that's a different type of bug that you're searching for, right? And then I would also say like start learning the tools that you're going to be using in cybersecurity as QA. Because like at my job, we use Sumo Logic, right? It's very similar to Splunk, right? But although like you can get like those trials and stuff like that, but what we're going to be doing on this channel on Thursday is I'm going to set up Grafana, right, the open source one, and I'm going to use the rock paper scissors game challenge from Chaos Camp to log what's happening in there into Grafana. You know what I mean? So getting familiar with like looking through logs, searching for logs, using those applications, that's another thing that you could do as QA, because like I've been using those things for a long time, but I never considered them as cybersecurity stuff. They're just like, how am I like searching for errors and bugs? What's going on with the logs? What's not working and stuff like that. But they like in the presentation coming out tomorrow about cloud security engineering, that is a very like the SIEM is a very big part of cybersecurity. You know.
SIEMs are absolutely the foundation when you're talking about working inside of a security operations center or a SOC. A lot of people sharpen their teeth and get their chops when they go into SOC type environments, because if I have a couple seconds, can I have a couple seconds to kind of
Go
talk
for it.
about this?
Go for it.
All right, so
I'm here as long as you need.
Awesome. I, in preparation for this QA, I reached out and talked to some junior analysts on the teams that I'm supporting, and I wanted to know some of the things that they were experiencing as people who were quote unquote purpose built for cybersecurity. Like they went to school, they went through training because their mission is to defend national assets, right? And I heard something that I could really relate to, and I think you'll be able to relate to it too, Tech Coach Ralph. He said the young soldier said, I asked him this question. I said, what is something that you learned in cybersecurity that had you known it would have been nice to be told, or like somebody to have said, hey, you're going in here, be prepared for this. And he said, well, I mean, obviously most people in cybersecurity are pretty bright, right? They're not lumps of coal or sacks of rocks, right? But he said, I've never been in a situation where I feel like I'm consistently just dumb. Like I don't understand, or not that I don't understand, that I'm completely I'm consistently being pushed into environments where I'm not accustomed to, or I don't know. And I talk to people who I mentor and develop as we move toward getting people ready to get into cybersecurity. I say, hey, cybersecurity is an environment where you bang your head against the wall multiple times, and you get solutions, but it might not come from the way that you thought that you were going to get the solution, right?
Hmm.
So and also the young man talked to how these disparate technologies, or these disparate understandings, or things that you came into contact with, actually do feed into um, the overall understanding within our field. And so when you're working at a SOC, and the importance of a SOC, and then after this I'll get off my soapbox. Um, First of all, the people who were kind of pioneering cybersecurity are the graybeards of IT, right? And if
They've
we
seen it all, right?
understand, right, if we understand that, then we understand, well, when you get your first IT job, where are you typically going? To the help desk, right?
Hmm.
Well, if we follow this logic, then we can also understand that the SOC environment is important, because that is kind of like the help desk for cybersecurity. Um, not to diminish people's talent, skill sets, or any of these things, but in a SOC, you get so many disciplines that are locally or sitting to your left and right, that it makes it an environment that is ripe for learning, and to get your chops, to do your reps, and to understand kind of what cybersecurity is holistically, because you'll have a network analyst in front of you, you'll have a person that deals with EDR sitting to the right, person that's dealing with SIEM, then you'll have some type of architect that's sitting next to you, and all of those people act as points, or data pools that you can pull from, or data lakes that you can pull from, in order to gain understanding of the environment to which you're beginning to get involved with. And that's my TED talk.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Let's wrap up this question. All right. So I'm going to read a couple of comments, and then I'm going to take a question from the chat. Then we'll go back to our questions, and we'll do another question from the chat, right? So as the questions from the chat come in, we'll bounce back and forth, all right? So, but before, I'm going to read a comment that is currently in my chat, which you won't be able to see it, but I will read it to you. And this is from our good friend Green KC. Says, I recently became an associate SOC analyst, and I've been sticking to dashboards with Splunk until I get comfortable with making my own queries. So first and foremost, I want to say shout out to Green KC. See, they were holding back on me because I didn't know they just became an associate SOC analyst. So SOCs, real quick, what does SOC stand for? The SOC, SOC analyst. What's that?
Yeah, SOC analyst, security operations center analyst. That
Okay.
can be both. That can be in between log analysis. It sounds like he's a SIEM analyst. So with them talking about building dashboards and things like that, that's a real critical key feature that you get when you're talking about a SIEM. Because think about it, when you have a big boss that's walking in, they're not so technically in the weeds. They have had it. They chewed a little bit, and then they're moving on, right? So what you're gonna get with the theme is a high overview, blinky light, something very nice that the leadership can understand what the overall health is for the entire infrastructure or the enterprise network to which they're in charge of protecting and defending.
Awesome. So, Green Casey, like as I said, I'm going to be setting up Grafana this coming Thursday. So that'll be good to go along with me on that. Right, my first time doing it, first time using Grafana, but I'm just going to be following the instructions. Going to use Docker to set it up. Going to use the Chaos Camp project to get the logs coming in. So that'll be fun. You can probably help me with that. All right. So definitely tune in.
Grafana is a pretty nice software.
I like their logo.
Yeah, it's some pretty great stuff. The swirly with the multicolor.
And I have someone in my chat that's Ashley says hi socks. So they have
Hey, what's going on?
All right. So you see you got fans everywhere, socks. There we go. All right.
I appreciate it.
And then in your chat we have Digger. All right. It says
Duggar.
yo bag chasers. What up? So they can't hear my soundboard. I was like fighting all day, right, to try to get my sound to like that I have on here to be able to output to StreamYard, but I'm still fighting with it.
Send it to me. I can help with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my computer audio to go out to my mic as well, but it's been a fight. So what up? And so let's get to a question in the chat, right? And I'll put the 3 minutes up for that one. It says, what roles in cybersecurity can become remote? You're on the clock.
There's very few roles that I believe cannot be remote when it comes to cybersecurity. But I think that more to your point is at when I'm going on the job hunt, how can I target specific jobs in the hopes of being remote? Definitely don't want to be in the SOC because pager duty and all the other things. However, I think that you need to correlate that question with your capabilities. What are you bringing to the table? What can you do? There is log analysis that you can do as long as there's a VPN that is in place for your for the corporate structure to which you become a part of or who you want to work with. I mean, to be fair, I think that's a pretty vague question. I think that most roles can operate in that way outside of government, right? If you gotta be aware. Do you want to work with government? If you expect to work with government and be remote, that may be quite more challenging than if you work with some type of SOC as a service or organization that supports a or internal security team that supports different things. I think you'll always end up in a hybrid model when you're in cybersecurity. So I wouldn't lean too heavily on remote.
And I'd say too, right? Just about any position in anything can be remote for the most part. But the question is the company willing for it to be remote, right? And especially because I see outside of cybersecurity, right? I have so many people who come to me because they want to I primarily do QA, so they come to me QA. I want to do QA, but I want to do remote. And all right, what's your experience? I'm just transitioning. I just took a boot camp or something like that. And I'm like, well, it's not going to be easy because during the pandemic, okay, sure, people were hiring remote and stuff, but now they're especially when you're entry level, you don't know that much, right? You're still have, wet behind the ears. So they want you to come in so that they can see what you're doing and stuff like that. And help you, people like you and I, it's easier for us to get remote because we've been doing this for a long time. But even with that, it's still not easy to be remote, right?
But let's unpeel that just a little bit more, and it's gonna sting a little bit, guys. Don't cheat yourself from the experience of being around graybeards. And when I say graybeards, I mean people who are experienced in their craft that have been doing it. I get the comfort of, okay, I roll out of bed, my uniform is my underwear and my t-shirt because no one can see me during the Skype call. But think about what you're leaving on the table. Think about the opportunities to go and talk with that network engineer that is crazy about BGP and really understands it. and all of the opportunities to learn that you got. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not the guy that's going to fight you on comfort over, over stress. But I mean, put a little skin in the game. It's that's probably toxic of me to say, but that's how I feel.
No, but not for real though. But like once you're just getting started, you need to like be visible, because that's how you're gonna learn, right? You'll drown if you're brand new and you don't have people that you can directly ask questions to and stuff like that. You know, Green KC, he says in my chat, currently works hybrid, 3 days on site and 2 days at home, which
Yeah,
that is pretty like
that's a
companies, they
pretty
are
good deal.
they're very willing to be hybrid. Like they might have you do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? And then you get like those 2 days to be remote at home and stuff like that. And I think you get the best of both worlds like that. But it just depends on the company. It depends on the business. It depends, like if, like you were saying, if it's like government, you might need a security clearance, and they might want you to be like on site and stuff like that. It just depends, and it also depends how much you might be getting paid. If they're paying you X amount of dollars to be like on site, I'll be there every day, right? Versus like if it's like it
Eh,
just
eh,
depends.
eh, let me take a real quick. I'll take. Can you throw 2 minutes back up on the clock?
You got it.
Um. So first of all, I gotta endorse what you're saying, right? When as a, I mean, all right. So yes, I'm making some money, and I just my role just got shifted to where I went from almost remote 90% of the time to to in-house that I have to come in. I'm every day I'm in the office, right?
Uh huh.
Um I love what I do, and so it doesn't matter, and they're paying me a reasonable amount. And so I think that when we talk about people who if you're just starting out, please go in the office. Don't have you don't have legs to stand on the fight. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it's ridiculous for me to come out of college or to come from some boot camp and then demand to work from home. Yeah, well, at the numbers that we're asking for too, right? Because they're saying, hey, I want to make 200,000 and not go into the office. Or even, I think it's kind of crazy to ask for 125,000 with no experience, and then I work remote. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice because you're not getting the oversight that you need. And let's not forget, a lot of people in cybersecurity, when you're first starting out, you don't want to look like a fool. So if you don't want to look like a fool, what's going to happen? You're not going to ask questions. Well, in the office, it's an environment where it gets you familiar and comfortable, where you will ask the questions and you won't feel goofy or have imposter syndrome. Trust me, I've had it. That's all I got.
And I'd say too, like whatever stage you're at, still sign up for Sox University January 11th, right? Because then you can get a mentor, someone that you can ask questions to, someone that can help you and stuff like that. So like use every single resource, and it's not that expensive either, right? It's like the boot camp for boot camps, right? so
It is
so
indeed a
get a
preparatory
mentor,
course.
So there you go. Perfect. All right. All right, let's see what we're gonna go to now. I am going to jump to one of our staged questions. So I want to get
Mhm.
your thoughts about this, because like it's similar to like the type of questions that I would answer, but these are more related to cybersecurity. So we're gonna go. Let's see how this is gonna show up on the screen. I don't know. All right, cool. So let's do that one, right? And I'll read the whole context here, right? So let me start. Let's do this.
Another one.
All right. It says, I feel very destroyed after a job interview. All right. I'm in my last year in computer science school, and we are obligated to do a 6-month internship in the end of the year. I want mine to be in cybersecurity field, preferably as a junior penetration tester. And today I had my first real job interview with HR, and it was a horrible experience. I got stressed and started shaking my hands and head, and I couldn't express myself fully. They told me it was okay and they will call me if they need a similar profile. I think I screwed it up. Is there still a chance that I pass the technical interview? If no, how can I get better aside from practice? And if this continues, can I land an internship with my technical skills only? I play a lot of CTFs for 3 years and some bug bounties. What do you think, Socks? Is it over for this young lad?
You know what? I'm gonna rip the band-aid off. Expect it to be dead. Like expect it to be gone. It's okay. Here, let this redemption listen to me. I want you to hear through this crappy experience, right? What cybersecurity and IT professionals tend to not do very well is 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 interview and interpersonal skills. It just like we mess with computers because let me tell you something. And you guys can I'm just telling you. I told my I told some close friends of mine. I said, "Hey, I prefer computers over humans because if I break the computer or it's screaming some type of seg fault or some type of error, without a doubt, it's my fault. It has nothing to do with how it felt or any of those things. It's broken because of that." And I think that can elucidate some of the things that we as as computer people tend to battle with, right? So here's what I would like you to do. Okay. It's called Toastmasters. Toastmasters doesn't pay me. So I'm just telling you. Find Toastmasters. They're an international organization and they're definitely nationwide. So there's a Toastmasters in your environment and it's almost free, right? Go sign up for Toastmasters. Take some classes. Get accustomed to talking with people. Also, when you have interviews that's staged or that are set up, unfortunately, like when I was first starting, I didn't have anybody that had ever been in cybersecurity, let alone had a computer or the knowledge. So I get that. I understand that. But that's where mentorship comes into play, right? One, we got to make sure that we're mentorable, right? That we can actually be mentored, right? That means putting your ego to the side. Like I just got finished doing a big petition to try and get some money to support Sox University, and I realized like, wait, hold on, maybe there's some mentorship opportunities for me, so that I could better and become stronger in that space so I could better represent the business and brand that I'm going after, right? We are our own brand every time we sit in front of a person that we're trying to interview against. So what I'm trying to provide to you is that no, it's not over. Yeah, that's just one interview. Trust me. Like they're gonna say no, like whatever. That doesn't matter. That does not impact your technical acumen per se. But what it does speak to is how we present and how we're received. And Toastmasters, do 6 months, right? That doesn't mean don't go after a job for 6 months. Take 6 months, work on yourself, get a mentorship group, get some groups of people who, get you a tech coach Ralph. Go put some reps in with them and say, hey, I'm going to interview with you. I need you to tell me what my faults are. And then take notes based upon what your performance is, and then go back. You're a hacker. You got this. You've done CTFs. Keep doing those. Don't stop. Those are very perishable skills. Keep going after it, and those things represent demonstrative application of your knowledge. So that's important. But it's all about the package, and that's all I have.
So I had this on because I do a lot of I review like so many resumes like for work and for coaching and stuff like that. And other than like if you can get past like because most resumes are terrible, right? So if you can get past like if someone actually accepts your resume and they want to talk to you, right? And now you have to go through the interview process. A lot of people they are so unprepared for the interview, right? They don't know how the interview processes go. They don't know what to expect. They don't know the type of questions that they're going to get, and then you get a situation like this where you totally bomb, right? I'll tell you a quick story. One of pretty much one of my right hands in the tech with barbarians, right? She had she had an interview coming up, right? And so it was for QA. She was studying the questions, right? And I said, okay, so you studied the questions, but are you like ready to interview? She's like, oh yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. We're gonna do a mock interview, right? So her interview was going to be on Wednesday. So Monday, I'm like, all right, we're gonna do a mock interview. And so we do it. And I start asking her the questions, right? Like questions that I would ask on an interview. And she started to like totally like get nervous, looking around, and like just bombing it, right? I'm like, okay, cool. That's good that you did it here instead of doing it on the interview, right? What we're gonna do now, every day, twice a day, until the day of the interview, and like an hour before the interview, right? We're going to prep so that once you and I'm gonna make it harder for you, right? The way that I interview is like really tough, right? So that once you go into that interview, it's gonna be a cakewalk, right? And when she went to that interview, like she killed it. So it's about preparation. And what I always tell the people that I'm coaching is like, you have to have things that you can talk about that's going to make the person that you're interviewing with say, wow, right? Like you did that. Oh, snap. Like I never even thought about that. Right. That's the goal for the interviews because you have to get comfortable. You have to go into the interview. Like, if you don't hire me, then that's your loss. Right. And with that mindset, you are going to kill it. So that's a little bit of interview tips and preparation stuff that I coach my people to be ready to, you should always be ready for any situation. You know what I mean?
And to be fair to the person who posted this question, like I have bombed interviews that were given to me. Like I was a shoo-in to get this job, but because I could not articulate properly, like it happens. And we got to be kind to ourselves. Like that's important too. Like go back, sit down, don't let that discourage you. You got this, because it's a game of numbers at that point in time. Especially when you just got your OSCP, like you're in the right space. So just keep going at it. You got this.
And I'll give a little piece of information that I'm not going to give all the details because this is Patreon exclusive information. But create a little bit of content about what you're learning and share that on the most important platform. And I'll leave it as that. I can't give too much, but that is a Patreon level game. All right. So with that being said, let's wrap up that question. All right, I'm gonna read a comment from your chat. It says, "Yo, socks." Not sure who this LinkedIn user is, but they are saying, "Yo,
I can't see him
socks."
either.
Yo. All right. So then let me read this comment for a couple of comments from Green Casey in my chat. First, he says, "Thank you for what you're saying about the SOX analysts and stuff like that. I am a L1, which is a triage specialist. I was promoted from the service desk last month, so I honestly just finished training last week." That's awesome. That's
what I'm talking about.
And this is the stuff that I love to hear, right? Because I can't say it enough. Like so many times you hear, "Oh, I went from this to this in 6 months," and like I went from like doing whatever, working as a cashier at Walmart or something, to making $500,000 a month in 6 months after I did a 3-week boot camp and everything like that, right? But as you can see, Green Casey is going through the process, right? He was in the service desk. Now he's going to keep going up, right? Going to keep going up, but going through the process, like the way that 99% of the people have, like, are there some anomalies? Of course, right? But 99% of the times, you're going to have to go through the service desk, through the help desk, maybe through QA, maybe through whatever the route is, right? You're going to have to go through that. Might be working as like a network engineer, whatever they call them, right? The ones who work on like the network and stuff like that, the firewalls, the VPNs and everything like that. But you go through the process, right? And then another comment real quick from Green KC says, I have imposter syndrome some days as well where I feel everyone knows more than me. There are certain incidents I have to ask how to work or what resources to use to obtain particular logs. Yep. So, and totally fair, and that's gonna happen. But it is what it is. Like, just block it out, right? Ask questions, because at the end of the day, you're learning, and they know that you're learning. Because guess what? If you weren't qualified, they wouldn't have promoted you to that role.
And you can't know everything, right? Like I'm not saying that as a cop out, right? So if we look at, okay, let's just talk about I get this the signature that comes from, I don't know, Nico Stan, right? I don't know all the things that are part of it, but I do know how to quickly acquire the knowledge to apply it so that we can find out and get after the bad guy, right? So if we just, again, it goes back to being kind to ourselves. Yes, get at it, work hard, become become the consummate professional when it comes to the things that you're into. But I think that we get that imposter syndrome and that not knowing panic, because we look at the greats in our environment and we're like, and we compare ourselves. But that, how do you okay, so going to jujitsu, to karate, to aikido, how can a person that just walked in the door, got his yellow belt, right, which is the second rank from the bottom, right, even begin to compare themselves to a blue belt, which is 4 belts up and has like 5 to 6 years in practice? Like, how can you do that? So we gotta really have more reasonable expectations, not only for ourselves but for those that are around us, right?
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
no, that's all I got.
Now, and I was gonna say, like me, like I do jujitsu, and I'm a blue belt, 4 stripes. And some days I go in there, and I feel like it's my first class. It's terrible. But some days I go there, and it's great. It's like every day is different. Your energy level is gonna be different, and especially like in a role that you just got promoted to. Like, I like imposter syndrome is real, but I think that you need to always tell yourself that where you are today, you got there, right? It wasn't handed to you. It wasn't given to you. You earned it, and you're gonna keep going up. You're gonna keep learning, and then even when you get to the top, right? Because I'm sure there's some days that Socks are like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but he keeps going, and then the next day he wakes up perfectly fine, makes some steak or something, and then he keeps it moving, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
that was awesome. That was awesome. All right, so we are going to go to a question from your chat. It says, so one question I have no experience, education, or any certs in the field currently, but I plan to get into cybersecurity. Once I get certs, how should I get experience to get an entry level role? I think we get this question a lot too. So I think this would be I think you can give some really good insight on this one. Let me I keep forgetting to do this, but all right, let's go.
Tell me when.
Good to go.
All right. So the short answer is, once you get on the path, once you start getting your certs, you'll be more than able to get an entry level role. I think the largest part and what we tend to continuously battle is this expectation management that sometimes isn't there. What is my salary when I start to go in? If you have an expectation of making 60K, I think that's reasonable. Like, I think that's pretty good, because it sets you up to be successful, because they're probably going to give you a little bit more than that. But we have people with overinflated senses of self who are asking for $100,000 to $200,000 with no cybersecurity experience, and then they share their experience of not getting that, and that kind of skews the expectation of what the job market really looks like. So, so here's the quick down and dirty. Get your certifications. network while you're getting your certifications. While you're networking, create at least 2 to 3 relationships. Those relationships are without a doubt, as long as you go ahead and you follow through on what you're saying, most people you'll probably get a job. Now, I say that with certainty because we tend to hire people that we are familiar with. So if someone has watched you develop and show your initiative from going from zero to getting a certification in order to become serious and get into this field, then I think that they're a lot more likely to put you on the team, to pull you in, than a person that they don't know, right? So, yeah, get the reps. Some of the things that I focus on now, that I will focus on within Sox University, is ensuring that people understand the nomenclature that they're going to come into contact with inside of cybersecurity, and also understanding different various techniques and procedures within the different environments. So I just think that, and also CTFs, going to conferences. Definitely go to conferences in your area. Check out B-Sides, bsides.org. That's Bravo Sides.org. There's a bunch of cybersecurity conferences with a lot of different organizations that's wanting to pick up people who are looking to get into the field.
And I'll just throw this in too, right? Because something that I do a lot on this channel is that on my channel is I explore new softwares, right? So like last month, Sox joined me to play around with some CTFs, right? I install like a bunch of different softwares using Docker to try to configure them. Bit like playing around with Terraform, with the identity and access management, with the virtual private networks in AWS. Like I said, we're going to be installing Grafana. So one recommendation that I would make, right, is as you're getting your certifications, because a lot of people get certifications, but they don't get practice with what they're learning, right? So I would say start looking up some of because when you say like you plan to get into cybersecurity, right, that's very broad. So I would say start honing in on some of the positions that you might be interested in. Like, so that's why I released a video for the identity and access management engineer role. Tomorrow is coming out the cloud security engineer role. Last month, I also had the site reliability engineer role, so start looking into what roles are there and then looking at the job description to see what do I need to learn to be able to do this job, and then start like practicing, like, okay, if I want to do the SIEM, right, let me install something, maybe Splunk, maybe Sumo Logic, maybe Grafana, so that I can start seeing how this application works, so that when I go on an interview, I can actually talk about, like, actually know what I'm talking about instead of just the theory that I learned from taking the certs. I can actually have some hands-on experience with the softwares that I'm going to be interacting with on the job.
And there is a such thing, just to add to what you're talking about, there is a such thing as being paper perfect. And that's when you look really good in black and white, but when it comes to actual execution, you're not where the organization is expecting you to be.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you for that, Sox. All right. I am going to jump to a fun one, right? And then we're going to bounce back and forth, all right? So we are going to go to question number 3. And that one says, the CEO kept all, I'm going to emphasize all, of her passwords in an insecure password management on her phone. Any info on what this is and how to avoid this in the future? So it says at a large. So is this the right one?
That's the one with Easy Password Manager.
Yeah. So at a large client, we asked the management to use and adopt one of those more well-known password managers. We recommend 1Pass or Bitwarden. They seem to be good at the moment. Wanting to avoid the cost, the manager did not adopt our recommendation, but instead downloaded Easy Password Manager from Rebrand Software and typed in all her passwords there onto her onto her iPhone. The app has later been removed from iTunes and Google Store. We have multi-factor authentication on all the important accounts she controls. So we are in control. But they have two questions, right? This person has two questions. Does anybody recognize or know this piece of software and have any idea who is behind it? The rebrand software. How can we avoid that users install dangerous apps on their tablets, phones in the future? Complete lockdown with iTunes or what? We will, of course, do user awareness training after this in addition. So this is a good question, but the question is, right? Here's the question I'm going to pose. I'm going to modify this a little bit, right? What do you do when the CEO does not follow the rules?
You ready?
Let's get to it.
All right. So, first of all, no one's above cybersecurity inside of an organization because the CEO is married to its stockholders. He cannot do things. He or she should not do things that endanger the ability for those stockholders to gain profit on their initial investment, and that extends into the obedience to certain processes that need to be put in place. Now, looked into Easy Password Manager real quick. I ran a dig command, and then I did, and then it came up with like some 8 dot whatever IP addresses. I ran against that password. I ran against that IP space. There's just the ability to do those things, identify a lot of ways that we can improve, right? So, first of all, that's the boss. You don't want to make the boss feel inferior. You don't want to do anything crazy, right? So the first step would be a BYOD policy to be put into place, right? And BYOD meaning bring your own device policy. From there, we have remote erasure tools that get added onto that endpoint, be it a tablet, cell phone, or laptop. And those things are important because you need to address things that have our secret sauce on it, and to protect our data at rest. When we're talking about data in motion, ensuring that things go through a VPN, and also gaining within that BYOD process, ensuring that you can have the ability to install only trusted software onto those endpoints, right? Something like there used to be a place I'm probably gonna go over in a minute. So I'm just telling you because of the intricacies of this question. There's gonna be Okay, so there used to be a practice back in the day where people believed in passing on responsibility or debt or risk, right? And passing off of risk was enough to satisfy some type of SOC certification or requirement. When in fact it's not, because if we have risky infrastructure, let's say that one the CEO has all their passwords on that one phone. If that phone touches my infrastructure that is internal, right? It could be seen as a trusted endpoint, which then allows the enemy or the bad guy to pivot from that cell phone into the internal network. And that's especially if we have something like that being allowed on the CEO's cell phone, then there's possibility that this whole infrastructure, this whole enterprise is not properly VLAN segmented or whatnot. So there's a lot of security concern that's being represented inside this question. And if I seem triggered, I am a little bit, because there's a lot of problems with what's going on there. Do we have the ability to have, like, if we have within BYOD, no matter what the vendor is, or even if it's a a homebrew version, there's a such thing as sandboxing the environment, so that yes, his personal stuff can be can be stolen, but when it comes to two-factor authentication, what does that two-factor authentication really look like, right? Um, he just stored his passwords. Cool. All right, so the bad guys got the password, but do they have the UB key that's being used as as that multi-factor authentication versus two-factor authentication, right? So we could spend hours on this question, but I think that I answered most parts of it, like
Yeah.
how to avoid it, BYOD, and any info on what Easy Password Manager is. Okay, first you take that URL and then you put it into something called DIG. That DIG is going to give you the authoritative answer, or the IP address that marries up to it. Then you can go through a myriad of blocks or permissive based rule based access controls, like whether or not you want to allow that IP or IPs from that region to have access to your infrastructure. Are you going to instantiate different practices or security protocols in order to access things such as email and things of that matter? Also, biometrics can be utilized. Like we have options here, but it sounds like the CEO is just running amok.
You remember in the TV show 24 when they'd cut off the person's hand and then they'll use that to authenticate the biometrics?
You know the fun part about biometrics now is that heat sensitivity matters. So they cutting off a hand, and in 2 minutes before the blood leak out, they're like, "Oh, we got him. Let's cut out and scoop an eyeball out and be like, oh, retina display." I don't know if that's how that works.
All right. So let's wrap up that question. Thank you very much, Socks. And Green KC says to that whole story with the passwords on the phone, yikes. That's what I said.
right. I'm with yikes. For real.
And you know what I've seen, like when some devices, like when you try to log into your organization, it'll say like if you log into your organization with your personal device, the organization has control of your device until you log off of it, So
Until
that's
you log off, or
until you disconnect from the account that you're connected to. Like let's say you have like a Google or Microsoft account, like your company uses that. Then let's say you log into that, because like with Microsoft 365 you can kind of log in from any device, right? But they'll say that by you doing this, the organization has like full rights over your device, right? And unless you like totally like sever the connection altogether of logging into that account.
And so on a side note, that's my problem with people going remote, because my concern is, and you heard it here, you can take note from this point right here. When people work remotely, we're passing the debt, or we're passing the responsibility onto the person that's working remote, right? But they can't hold the fiduciary responsibility that is entangled with the business by working from home. But you're working from home, and you got kids that's walking around that might say trade secrets and stuff like that, or that might download something because they want the newest Minecraft because you're not buying them enough Robux, and it was laden with bad stuff. And so the answer has been, okay, well, you're using all your work on VPN from your home. Well, I've compromised your network. So even if you are using VPN from home, the bad guy can still access and utilize that information or gain access to that information and those endpoints. So I think that as we start unraveling this working from home situation, we're probably going to have to come up with new legislation and new ways to protect the end user from liability. Because if I have you working from home and you work at Nico's R Us and you become compromised because your wireless access point was using the weakest version of security, are we now also passing on a responsibility that each person, when they working from home, got to become a cybersecurity expert? Like those are the things that I ponder in the middle of the night.
Well, that's a tough one because
Yeah, I know.
that just gives the argument for bring their ass back to the office
for no remote, right? And,
right?
and I want people to work remote. I think it's cool, but perhaps the answer is that when you work from home, not only do I give you a laptop, but I give you a wireless puck that you operate from. So now I still remain, I'm still holding responsibility for the network, and I make it easier for my defenders and for my IT staff to properly protect not only the business, but my end user, which is you, the employee.
Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna read a question. I'm gonna read a comment, not a question, a comment from Green KC, and then we will go to another question. So Green KC says, my employer recently enforced multi-factor authentication along with the use of a security key, and it was a nightmare having to assist thousands of users with registration. And to make it worse, it was during the iPhone 15 launch. And he adds, so many users had to re-enroll, which forced the SOC to have to set up a bridge and assist them due to the service desk being overwhelmed.
That good old Cisco Unity coming into play, huh?
Yep, but
UCCM, I think.
That's part of securing, securing the fort. It's look. I'm gonna and I am so thankful that Green Casey put this comment in because it's not all roses, right?
No, it's not.
Because guess what? Someone at the top, which justifiably so, put in this policy, right? Because whatever it is that you're doing, they want it to be secure. They want like the secrets getting out, what's that called? Proprietary information, whatever secrets you guys have. And they need to secure everybody in there. But who does it fall on to make sure that everybody gets everything working? It falls on the people in the service desk, right? And you probably had to work many, many long hours to get everybody situated because people need to work, so you're jumping from person to person to person, trying to help people multiple at a time. And you're built for it. But some people, because they think they're just going to jump in there and get the bag, right? And they're like, okay, I'm not cut out for this because I have to be on call this weekend to help all these people pager duty, help all these people get set up. And I was supposed to go do whatever that it is that they had planned, and now their plan gets canceled, and now they're like,
I'm in a bind, Nate.
And it's like, what do I do? So that is a very realistic reality that comes with any type of IT job, right? Because you can be doing whatever you are at 3:00 in the morning, and then you get an alarm, like things are crashing. There's an intruder in the system, and you got to get up and you got to go and fix it. You have to go defend it. Like, it's especially with cybersecurity, right? You're at war, right? It's like constant war. People trying.
What is this war you're talking about?
Right?
No,
it's like people are trying to intrude into your system, and you have to keep them out. Anyways, let's get to another question. We're gonna go back to one of Leanne's questions, right? We'll do two of her questions, right? Because her questions are very like similar, so we'll get two of them in
Okay.
there, right? So let me get this off the screen, and we're gonna go.
Another one.
All right. So this question is, why should a person learn cybersecurity over quality assurance, and vice versa? Why should a person learn quality assurance over cybersecurity? And I have some thoughts on this question once you are done. So let me put your 3 minutes up, and yeah, let's keep it separate, right? Let's keep it. Oh no, let me add the other one to it, right? It says, and is QA a good way into cybersecurity, right? So we have two questions.
All right.
Right.
Cool. So, you ready?
Yep, go for it.
All right. Cool. So I think that when it comes to QA, it depends on the person. To answer the question, choosing between cybersecurity and QA, it depends on their interest and their career goals, right? So we're talking cybersecurity focuses on protecting data and systems from cyber threats, right? Whereas a person that's in QA, it involves ensuring that we have, I think, software quality assurance and through testing and identifying bugs. I think that there's an argument that there is some overlap there where QA is kind of like in the space of not only identifying those things but trying to assist in the remediation of said bugs, and because they do so, they're also underneath the cybersecurity umbrella. Never escape us. Mwah! Right? I think that cybersecurity, because of the thing that's what I've been doing, it's really good for people who like to solve very complex problems, right? That doesn't mean that the QA role does not offer problems, but the span of problems that you're going to encounter are much much larger inside of cybersecurity versus QA. QA is typically, I find QA people focusing on web stuff, like stuff that is customer facing, and that's about when it begins and ends. You should know the OWASP top 10, like you should know that. That's your bread and butter. A cybersecurity person is not only expected to understand what's operating on the wire or within network spaces, but also what's happening on endpoints, on actual infrastructure, to even go down into malware reverse engineering or understanding system level issues, which we don't often find happening within QA. When we start talking about, I think, QA as a path into cybersecurity, I think that there's a lot of transferable skills that exist within the QA space. I think that those analytical approaches that you have, unit-based testing, CI/CD pipeline integration, makes you amazing when we start talking about DevSecOps, and when we start talking about even the normalcy of understanding pedagogically how we address and solve knowledge management on a team. So to answer, is QA a good way to get in cybersecurity? I would argue yes, it's a great way, because you come in with custom built programmatic understanding. So I can sit you in front of some knot ropes and some knot ladders and be like, hey, what's happening? And the hope is that you understand that, that some pointers are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? So that's all I got.
Yeah, so and I just wanted to add to this, right? So I don't think it's a either or. I think that, like you said, there's overlap. I think they're very similar. Um, I think when we think about QA, especially like a lot of the boot camps that are out there and the dummy courses for QA, it's all of like you're right. It is all about web, right? That they teach you like how to test websites, maybe some API testing, or maybe doing some automation tests. But before software, like you remember when you would buy something, like you'd buy maybe a pack of shirts or something like that, and then you'd get the little inspected by QC number 417, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was even a I don't know, I might be dating myself here, but on Nickelodeon there used to be Pete and Pete, right?
Nick.
There used to be Pete and Pete, and the younger Pete was obsessed with this QC inspector number from one of the episodes a long time ago, because he wanted to know who this QC person was, right? And so quality's always been around, and I think that they are very very similar, and that if you let's say you have a QA knowledge and background, I think you might be like 25 to 45% of the way to being good in cybersecurity. But the other thing is saying the term cybersecurity, it's very broad because, for instance, if you want to do identity and access management, right, then QA is probably not the right path for you to get into that, because that's like understanding like role permissions and stuff like that, right? If you want to do, let's say, cloud security engineering, it might be more relatable. But if you want to do analyst, then QA is going to be really good. If you want to do like the SIEM, QA would probably be really good because like being able to look through the logs and tracking down. So it depends what exactly it is in cybersecurity you're looking to do, because like we always say, like in one of the main purposes of SOC 2 is to help people have a better understanding, a better grasp, because it's very like cybersecurity is a broad field, right? So we need to focus in, we need to hone in on what exactly in cybersecurity are we trying to get into, right? And then you can get a more clear understanding of, do my QA skills line up with what part of cybersecurity I'm trying to get into? Because some of them might be very related, some of them might not be related at all, Sounds
Awesome.
good.
I was just sharing some of the contact details from for your Patreon, because you talk heavily and you focus extensively on prepping the future of QA, right? You're built to what?
We are engineered to win. All right. Okay. So let's see. What are we gonna go? Let me check the chats, make sure we don't have anything pending.
I don't see
And
anything on my end.
all right. So let's go to another one of our questions. Let's see here. Okay, let's do this one, right? Let's do the ISO certification one, right? So let me pull it up on my screen so I can read it better. All right. So this one says ISO 27001 after certification. What are the most important things to do after getting ISO certified so that come time for yearly audit, there is no panic? What are the main things auditors are looking for?
So I can't speak to every auditor, right? But I can tell you about some of the things that you want to focus on when you want to be prepared, right? So you're gonna do regular internal audits, right? Those you're gonna conduct those to ensure that you're maintaining your standard, right? And that's in line with the area of industry that you're in, right? Because again, your focus after your 2701 should be wholly on compliance, right? You're a compliance guy. Staff training and awareness is another thing that's going to be highlighted. And again, I'm no expert of everything cyber, but these are things that I understand, the different certifications and the different requirements of an organization would require, and also ensuring that you have proper knowledge management, aka document maintenance, making sure your SOPs and the way that you execute and do work across the enterprise is in place. So that's training docs and cybersecurity best practices, not letting CEOs download ridiculous things off the internet. And in preparation for external audits, like if you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready. One of the biggest headaches that I've had at a few organizations that I worked with was they would wait until 2 months out to get prepped for their SOC certification or whatever certification that they need to go through in order to to become accredited or to have that particular piece of infrastructure approved to operate. Like just really like it's it's symptomatic of poor planning, but it shows up as we were just so busy getting at the day-to-day business that we didn't have enough time to tackle those things. So in your position, what you're gonna have to do is ensure that those things are being done, and what can help you is look across your fiscal year, your 12-month cycle, however you operate as an organization, and then try and ensure that like your low hanging fruits, right? If you can get people to go through phishing emails and things like that, right? Those are real low hanging fruits, and things that go on and are continuously audited, right? Is your readiness and how prepared you are on that way. Now, when we start talking about having internal pen tests and things like that, which may be heavier pieces of things to move, trying to plan those out. Like, hey, by the way, on in February, March, and September are the months that we're going to start slotting to make sure that we're getting these different, audits executed, right? So I hope that was helpful. That's all I got. We can't hear you.
Okay. All right. So, let me just read this comment real quick. Green Casey says, "Yes, sir. Never stop learning, even when you have the job." And I think that's the biggest mistake that people make. Right? Is that once they get the job, they think that I've made it. Right?
I'm
But
good.
I tell like the people that I coach, I tell them getting the job is a starting line. Right? Like, especially like when you're transitioning into a field, like so many people they'll get the job and then they're like, "Oh, I've made it." And it's like, "No. This is the beginning. This is when you really start to like gather the skills and the knowledge, and if you think that once you get the job then it's done, then like, there's nothing I can do for you. Like we don't need to be working together, you know?"
I just got finished taking over a role where the guy who previously sat in my role, everybody on the team is like, the guy that was in your position didn't do anything. We don't even have metrics to show, and they're like, in the short time that I've been there, I've been that they've been pretty satisfied with what I'm bringing to the table. So I mean, like, keep those irons hot and get at it, right? Because if you do great out the door and you continue to do great, that just means more and more bonuses, more trips to Saint Tropez.
So, in the question that was asked earlier about not having any experience or any certs in the field, I just wanted to. He also put in this part said, for example, my plan is to get certs: Google Cybersecurity, Comp, TIA, Network Plus, Security Plus, Splunk, Learn, Basic, Python. What do you think about that route?
I would flip. I would flip Security Plus before Network Plus. And
So,
that's just how I was, how things worked for me, because I was able to gather, or I understood. Excuse me. I understood the concepts of Security Plus a little bit more, but I mean, it's fine. Learn basic Python. Python, it doesn't even sit inside of anything. I would say for the Splunk, there's a lot of free training that exists for Splunk, so definitely go ahead and sign up. Get you an account that'll allow you to download their virtual instance. That'll allow 500 gigs worth of data per day, which is a lot for a regular person that's just getting to understand their platform. Also, Network Plus and Security Plus. There's a lot of free training that exists out there for that as well as Google Cybersecurity. I think they're all really great venues, and you'll come out pretty well rounded following this path. So, good on you.
Cool. I'd also like probably say learn Python in parallel to getting all these certs because it can take time to acquire these, and you don't want to be like after you do all of this, then you go and learn Python. I'd probably just do it in parallel. So because it like learning Python is, I want to say it's not that hard, but then I was like having some people that I was training, that I was coaching to learn, and they were like struggling through it. But I mean, if you get the right mentor for like, because here's an example, right? You can get you need more than one mentor, right? You
This is true.
you can get a cybersecurity mentor, right? Who can help you, like give you guidance along like getting the cybersecurity, the network plus, the security plus, right? But that person might not be the best mentor on learning Python, right? So you might need to seek out or Splunk, right? So you might need to reach out to someone else to help you with that pathway, and go from there. Like you just gotta use the right resources, to be honest, right? So great insight. All right, so let's go to. You want to go to like 9:30?
Yeah, we can go to 9:30.
All right, cool. Let's get another. Let me see. Which
And pardon my yawns. I've just been up since 3.
All right, I was gonna say I've been up since like 4:30, but never mind. You got me beat.
I got you. We're hard at work. Hard working brothers. Bag chasers.
I had a jiu-jitsu class this morning, so
Okay.
woke up early to get some work done, and I had a bunch of like hard drive space errors that I had to fix this morning, so messed up my whole morning. Anyways, we're not here for that. All right, no one cares about our problems. Socks, let's go.
Just take this part and put it in the clavicle and then wrap it around like this, and then say shh while they go to sleep.
All right, let's go to. Let's do. How about? Let's do this one. Okay, we're gonna do the infrastructure one. All right. Oh no, actually, let's do the vendor one. That one sounds fun.
Ooh.
I knew you'd like that one.
Let's go.
All right.
Go.
So let me go to my question list. All right. So
Another one.
all right. Curious. We're curious, Socks. How do you deal with all the security vendors? I bet a lot of us have scar tissue in dealing with vendors, aggressive sales pitches, and damn near untenable spam in LinkedIn from account execs can definitely get to be something else. On the other hand, I like to keep my ear to the ground on what's going on in the vendor landscape. So if anything comes up with the business, I can somewhat be informed. But when dealing with vendors, I'm curious how you all manage the aggressive requests. Like when they ask about contact information, spend, renewals, etc. with current vendors. I have a CSPM vendor doing that with me right now. I'd be interested in knowing how you all respond to such things, which I would consider out of bounds. What do you got on this one, Socks? How do you deal with those pesky vendors?
They're not pesky because they take me to steak dinners. They're my friends. How about that, son?
Not leveraging it right.
All right, so I got a really great short little story, right? I was working with a friend of mine, Jeremiah and Foxy. If they're watching this, they're gonna laugh, right? So I'm a fresh, like, I do cybersecurity, but like I'm fresh to the whole vendor interacting, and I'm a junior guy, help desk, like little position, whatnot. And Q Radar is like the buzz. It's a new thing. So I tell them, I'm like, hey, y'all mind if I go to this luncheon thing? Like, it'll be good. I can learn about this product. Da 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 da. So Jeremiah, gray beard in the environment. Foxy, gray beard in the environment. It's like, yeah, we'll talk to the boss Dan and let you go. So I went, and they give you breakfast, they give you lunch, and you sit down, and then you go through it. And I'm really excited about some of the metrics that's being introduced. And so I go back to the office, and I'm like, hey, y'all, we need to get Q Radar inside the environment. They looked at me, they clowned me for maybe like it had to be maybe 4 days, at least a week, because they're like, oh, you want some Q Radar on that? Because I was inexperienced in the allure of shiny objects, right? And you're the question isn't wrong. There are aggressive sales pitches. I thought that they like kind of veered off, but if you read the how to, I think it's like, it's not Think and Grow Rich. Might be How to Attract Friends and Maintain Them, or so one of those.
How to win
books.
friends and influence people.
I think that's what it is, where you defer to a higher authority. So it's cool. Like, I get tons of LinkedIn things from people that are like, hey, I see that you work for blah, blah, blah. I'd like to tell you how to make your team more agile and more, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm sorry, at this point in time, I can't help you. I'm not the I'm not the purchasing authority. And then they'll say, well, can you refer me to that person? I say, well, it's against company policy for me to refer that information to you because, I don't know who you are. So there's a myriad. At the end of the day, yes, they're going to, and that's for new vendors. But I think that what he's talking about is maybe a vendor that he already has, that's looking to push more product into their organization. And I think it's just boundaries, bro. If you don't feel comfortable about it, like, hey man, look, check it out. We have appropriate amount of your product, and we're not in a position where in this fiscal year that we're looking to expand your technology. However, we'll keep it in the back of our mind as we continue to develop within X environment, right? If that's not enough, then just don't answer the phone for a little bit, and then answer, and then say, hey, look, check it out, man. At this point in time, we're not looking for it, but if you're still pressing it, then we may have to reconsider the implementation process or the partnership that we have in place. And like, that's why your organization puts you in that position to make those decisions, if you are indeed the person that can make those type of changes, right? Is because you got to have those difficult conversations, because you're in charge of protecting the business, right? Also, non-disclosure agreements work so that you can properly set boundaries that need to be in place. Research and networking, when you're talking about trying to stay abreast on new technologies as they emerge and are developed. That's just going to different conferences or talking. Like, do you have friends inside the environment? I know, like, in cybersecurity, I always have to, I always have buddies hit me up saying, hey, Have you heard of this technology? Do you know about this? Reddit is a really great one too. That's all I got.
So, what I normally do, because like me, I'm not in the position to like deal with vendors and stuff, so I normally just ignore them, right? Um, but you gotta understand too that as annoying as you might see them to be, they're doing a job too, right? And you can ignore them. You can talk to them, say, hey, you're not interested, like everything that Talk says, but um the they have like they're trying to sell their product. So and they have quotas that they have to meet as well and stuff like that. So it's just the business, just the game, right? You just gotta play it like you gotta play it the right way. So I wouldn't I don't know. Like I just like whenever I don't want to like you don't have to answer every call. You don't have to respond to every email, right? So
That's important for people to understand, though. My lady and other people have seen me watch my phone ring, and they're like, "It's rude for you not to answer the phone." I said, "No, I'm in charge of my time. I don't have to answer, and I can call you back when it's convenient for me. Like, and that's not being inconsiderate or a jerk or any of those things, but it's about setting proper boundaries. So if you get a phone call at 9 o'clock at night, that don't mean that you have to answer it. You're not on pager duty for these people."
so one of my rules is respect your time. Don't let anyone disrespect your time. Right? So it is what it is. So we have a comment from your side of the building from Jamal Carter. He says, love the content, very informative and actionable. Thank you, gentlemen. Shout out to the Chasers.
Bag chaser.
I appreciate you.
I need a soundboard over here.
You do. I'm gonna figure it out to get it to work in your chat, like to work on StreamYard, because it works in OBS with no problem. But I gotta get it to work in because look at this, right? Look at this. I have like
Ooh, that's nice.
all these.
Did you develop that?
No, it's it's an app that connects to like OBS and stuff like that. Yeah,
I only know Elgato, and I can build custom things for like an 8 key. So they have little keyboards that have 8 keys on it, and you can pre-program them using Arduino. So I can build a soundboard.
nice. All right.
Nerd stuff.
So we are at 9:30 right now.
Let's go. One more question.
One more
question.
All right.
One more.
Is there anyone in particular you had in mind, or you want me to just pick a random one?
I think that the hacker one versus Snack is trash. But yeah, you pick it. We should have like a random like thing that's up that we could click.
We have one of those?
We should have one.
Oh, like you're saying we should create it, or it exists?
Yeah, we should create it.
All right, I'll get on that with Don. Don't worry about it. We'll get that taken care of. A random question selector. All right. Let's do this one. I like the ones who are in school. I really, really like the ones who are in school because so many times it's like, I want like the shortcut. Anton talks about this all the time, right? Stop going for the shortcut, right? I think that so let me, before we go to the next question, right? Here's my perspective on it, right? Okay. I think that you should use every single resource to your ability, right? So if you go to let's say you do an online course, right? I think that's great. You also need to do self-learning. Let's say you go to a boot camp, right? I think that's great for the most part, depending on like all the costs and stuff like that. But does that mean that because you went to the boot camp, you should not go and solidify your degree and stuff like that? I think you should. I think you should go do it, right? Because it just opens more opportunities. Because 99% of the jobs are going to say they want a bachelor's degree in like computer science or cybersecurity or whatever, right? And you try to bring them this boot camp paperwork, right? It's not even an associate's degree, right? And like you can get in, you just make it harder on yourself, right? It just becomes harder on yourself. So I'm like, if you can get the paperwork, then get the paperwork. You know,
I think I think that we have a variance in opinion here. For me, yes, if you can. I think that if you go after the boot camp and all of that stuff, it just takes, you have to have requisite demonstrative capability. Like, but you don't get. But when you go to college, you don't get that. It's not comparative to me.
you're totally
And
right.
so yeah.
I don't think in one
I
place,
just
I don't think in one place you're gonna get everything, right? And that's why I say it has to be like a full attack, right? Like take the courses,
you want to be well rounded.
possibly take the boot camp. You got to do project. You got to do your own stuff. You got to find some way to do internships, right? Like volunteer. A lot of people, oh, I won't work for free. I'm like, well, you won't work to get paid either because no one's gonna hire you, right? So that's why I'm
You're
like,
not gonna live for free. How about that?
so I'm like, you have to like use every single resource to your advantage because I'm not saying that like college is the what's gonna teach you the thing. To me, I say like learn everything on your own and then just go to college to like
To get the piece of paper.
yeah, to just pass to just get a high GPA and get your paperwork, right? But that's not what's gonna actually teach you how to do whatever it is that you're gonna do because all the stuff that I learned like in school, I don't think I ever really use it, right?
Well, here's another way to look at things, right? And this is what I've learned. Like, you can take it or you can throw it out the window, right? College provides you the environment that is right for networking. Okay.
True.
So I go to MIT, I go to IIT, I go to, I don't know, Cornell, I go to I don't know, any of these schools, Clark Atlanta. The strength in attending those educational institutions are in the numbers and the relationships that I build across the time period that I'm there. And that's why people can go to those schools and quit right before they graduate and still be successful. Because the core of the functionality may not be in your ability to be the best in the head of class, but it's about what type of indelible imprint have I placed upon the people who have met me, right? When it comes to going through boot camps and things like that, I liken those paths to the same as people who went blue collar worker, right? They have a lower overhead and they already know what they want to do and they're just going to go full steam ahead to quickly get the piece of paper that certifies that they know what they're doing. In doing either one of those situations, I think that there's benefit in understanding where you are when you choose to engage in the activity, right? So I agree with you. We need to be well-rounded, without a doubt, right? But I think that due to economic requirements, like, we do what we can do, right? But you better be ready to do what you gotta do if you decide to go to school and get a master's or a bachelor's in cybersecurity. You gotta be ready because it does not guarantee that you will get the job. But what it can guarantee is that you get the interview.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I like from what I hear you saying, like everything you do, make it purposeful, right?
It has to be.
Don't just
Without
like
a doubt.
say I'm gonna go to college just because everyone tells me I should go to college, and then I go major in something. I won't throw out any example.
Underwater basket weaving. Underwater basket weaving. That's my favorite.
All right. So actually, let's do 2 questions real quick because we do have the
Okay.
last one of Leanne's questions. But, guess who's here in the building?
Who's in the building?
Leanne is here on my side of things. She says, "Hey,
We need to bring Leanne up.
what's up, Leanne? Thank you for being here. We answered the questions that you asked from 2 months ago, right? But we're gonna put up the last question. We're so happy to have you here, Leanne. Like she's awesome. All right, just letting you know, she is totally awesome. All right. So let's get to the 4th question, right? And you can play back to see the first 3 questions. We had them spread out throughout the show, but she asked as well. If QA, so this is if QA is a good way to get into cybersecurity, what would you add to make yourself more marketable as a quality assurance engineer trying to get into cybersecurity? Which I think that also
Again,
depends on the route that you go as well, like what part of cybersecurity you try to go in.
right. I can tell you where you're going to skyrocket. You're going to skyrocket inside of policy and plans, definitely, because of that attentive eye, the understanding. Again, I keep coming back to unit testing and things like that because those things, man, they suck because I did it as a cybersecurity guy that was trying to learn how to program a simple web app in what's that? I forget. It wasn't Closure. I was creating a Closure app, and I was again reading test-driven development and trying to do it the proper way, and understanding PEP8, and it was hard. But you already have that knowledge, so I would imagine it's easier for you to learn the rules that I operate in versus me learning the rules that you operate in, which is a super added benefit. If we pivot from that, let's just talk about it's called God, I'm sorry, it's slipping my brain. It's within threat detection. It's signature management. So CVEs and things like that. Your ability to properly rack and stack or organize these different indicators of compromise for cyber defenders, and also if you want to work in cyber threat intelligence, that's another place that I think that there's a place where your skill sets will be a nice little mixture. So that's all I got.
Awesome. Yeah. And like I said, right, it does depend. Like you said, like policy and stuff like that. It does depend on what route you're trying to get into. But like I said earlier, I think that if you are already in QA, then you are you're like a good portion of the way there because you already have that investigative mindset, right? And looking for, because I heard this the other day, right? Which I've heard it many times, but the software engineers, they build with the mindset of this is perfect, nothing can go wrong, and the QA engineers are like nothing works, right? Like that's the mindset that we go into it, like nothing works, and we're combating the mindset of this is perfect, right? And then we normally find ourselves like in the middle, right? But as well, here's the thing, with the way that I do QA, I try to, they call it shifting left, right? But I try to work closely with the engineers from the beginning, right? To put in in place, like, okay, what am I going to be looking for in the software that we're testing, to make sure that we don't have a lot of issues that we need to fix after, like, because we want to get to market as quickly as possible in the safest way as possible, right? So I think as QA, having that proactive mindset of like, okay, what are the possible risks? Like something in QA, like we're always thinking about risks, right? So risk management as well, from the cybersecurity point of view, is like, all right, bring that mindset, that critical thinking mindset to that aspect, I think that's going to help a lot in the cyber realm as well. All right, so let's wrap that question up. And we are going to do our very, very last one for tonight before we wrap it up.
I just dropped a QA in a nutshell link for your enjoyment.
Oh, awesome.
Hold on, I can show it for a second. Hold on. There's screen.
you know, like sometimes with my kid, he has one of those things like and it's like he'll try to jam it in there and then just throws it away. Right? All right.
Would you say that captures QA?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. All right, let's get one more question in there. They're going to wrap it up for tonight. So, the one that we were talking about a little bit earlier before we got sidetracked into our conversation, and Green Casey likes that one. All right, we're gonna do. We're gonna do this one, right? Let me read it from my side of things. Leanne is laughing at that too. All right, so we are doing. Okay, that one was number 5. So, all right, let me start
Another one.
All right, how to build up a security infrastructure. I am a computer science graduate student in a third world country. My cybersecurity experience consists of a 4-month SOX analyst internship, security plus certificate, and some HTB and THM modules. Do you know? Can you what they? Can you say
hack the box is HTB and THB is
THM?
I know what it is. THM, the hacker something.
Okay, that's cool. So it's something with hacking, all right?
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
It's
Cool.
it's an online provider for people to learn how to do pen testing and stuff like
Similar
that.
to like the catch the flag type stuff.
Yep, it's
Gotcha.
a capture the flag type site.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm being hired by a local mid-sized 30 to 40 employees startup-ish company to build their security infrastructure from scratch. I'll be really honest, the CEO is a family friend and he's vastly overestimating how much knowledge I have. All right. So I'm really at a loss in where to start. Should I just set up firewalls, set up a SIEM, and then start drafting up policies for access control, data protection, and IR? IR is incident response. Okay. And is it appropriate to use the Wazoo SIEM given SIEM given it's free? And since there is no security infrastructure, the company will have to buy the firewalls and other security devices. Are there specific vendors we should get the device from if we want to keep the cost at a minimum? Should probably talk to the other questioner. Also, I've been told by the CEO that they've been hacked twice already. How should I address this exactly? I know of threat hunting, but I really don't know how to do it yet. So, any advice or books for that? Should I just reset the system? Should I just burn everything down? So I didn't think this question was going to be that long, but
All right,
um,
put 8 minutes on the clock.
do you want to break it down, like, because there's a bunch of questions in this one question. Like, I don't know. How do you want to do
okay,
this?
so I'll try my very best, right? So,
I'll put 5 up on this one.
all
There
right.
you
So
go.
the first thing is with them being hacked twice before, right? You got to assess the current state of the network, right? I would assume everything is compromised. I just assume compromised. That's the best way to start. I'm going to be honest with you. This is not something that a person, given your experience, should be undertaking. Be honest with you. It places the environment. It places the environment under under risk that you are not properly equipped to deal with, because based upon whatever type of environment that they're in, and I imagine like he has there's a CEO and this is a friend of the family, that you want to deliver the very best that you can. So what I would do is I would seek out a cybersecurity team, and I would, because this is like they don't get this business without you. So you can parlay that into a position, right? So you can be a junior analyst, but also you found the business for this organization, and thereby you can make some money off of that. But it doesn't sound like you're worried about money. It sounds like you're truly trying to help your friend, the friend of the family. If after that information you still have to proceed forward, so first thing that you want to do is secure your perimeter, right? So you're probably gonna go ahead and digger like a contract broker. The I would say the first thing that you have to do is secure your perimeter, right? And start to lock things down. It depends on uptime also. If this organization is not enough information for me to truly give you any type of real guidance, because I mean, you said that you would be interested in burning it down. So it sounds like this might be a small mom and pop, which small mom and pops are targets for script kiddies. People who are really sharpening their teeth are getting access into this space to go out and do naughty things on the internet. Um, I would say that once you secure your perimeter through implementing a few firewalls, that the free option isn't the problem. It's the understanding about what's necessary in order to properly secure that environment given this free product. Because a firewall is a firewall at the end of the day. If you understand how to properly implement and logically separate VLANs uh, and different pieces of infrastructure, then you'll be halfway there. Um, Setting up a SIEM, absolutely, you should set up a SIEM. You could use the Waza, and by Waza, I imagine you're talking about Security Onion. Security Onion could be definitely a good utilization of free and open source software, or FOSS, that you can implement into your strategy. You're going to have to draft security policies to support the implementation strategy that you're going after. Um, I would say, but at the key of everything, like start off small, right? Uh, Go back to your basics. Implement fundamental things like access control lists, right? Role-based access controls. Um, Definitely switching to multi-factor authentication throughout the environment, right? Um, and if possible, like pull that boy off the internet, do an internal sweep do your network scans, aggregate that stuff, and then do your virus totals checks against the things that you find. Ensure that whatever you have in place is properly implemented, and then and only then would it be prepared to go out there and stand on the internet. But I do think that this is a pretty heavy lift for a person giving your experience, and this is no critique on whether or not you have the aptitude or the acumen, because I believe absolutely you could have those things. But I also don't want to present the idea that this is a one man show, um, uh, to be able to not only defend against but to remediate against a previously compromised environment, because even full teams have a hard time negotiating and identifying indicators of compromise on full enterprise systems. So it depends on how many endpoints also. If you're talking 2 computers, that's much different than if we're talking about a call center, right? So we would need a little bit more information before we get down that path. And like I said, while this good, start to if they said that they were hacked, try and understand like what IOCs or indicators of compromise are present, and then also understanding like what breaches and what TTPs may have been used in order to gain access. Was this just a phishing campaign that's gone awry that somebody in the organization clicked? Or is it someone that because you just had weak Wi-Fi security, that someone in the building next to you was just using free internet from you? Like there's a lot of information that needs to be provided in order to properly address what we're talking about. But I would seek out help, and I would look into a cybersecurity company, and I would negotiate a position based upon the business that I'm bringing to the organization. And even if it lasts just the extent of the incident, you will be that much more informed, and you would have a team that could properly support you and place proper rules in place, as well as owning the risk that's necessary to respond to an incident. That's all I got.
So I think in relation to what you were saying, Divers is asking like a contract broker for the cybersecurity like help that they would need to get.
Contract broker would be, I was reading that as the guy who posed the question being the contract broker, going to negotiate the relationship between an exterior cybersecurity firm and his family friend. So he would be the broker in between the two.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, like something I got from like reading this question is like how would I put it? You just graduated and like now there's no training ground. It's just like now the whole company's on your shoulder, right? We already been breached and now it's like
Twice, breached twice.
Twice, yes. And that's why I'm always like, do you really want to go straight to the top right out of your whatever education you have? Or do you want to take it slow, go through the help desk, learn the ropes, and then build your career out that way? Or do you just want to go straight to the top and then, because now imagine if you get into, let's say you get a position that you shouldn't be in yet, right? And now a major incident happens and whose reputation is on the line, right? That's gonna fall on you if you sign up for a job that you're not ready for. So think about that as well.
And I mean, and let's go the opposite. Let's say that you knock it out the park. You remediate and you execute all these different things. Then good on you. Like, I don't know, you just graduated, you're a computer science graduate with a master's, a bachelor's, a PhD. I don't know what level you graduated from, right? So you may have extensive understanding about networks and network architecture, and this may be something that you could like with the, because let's give them a little bit of bail. We have Chat GPT we have automotive and AI to assist people who understand the questions and the problems that they're facing. So he might be able to automate maybe 2 to 4 roles that would be necessary in order to properly remediate this problem. But again, it's not enough information. I myself, would I go after that? I would now. If I was first starting off, it depends on how hungry I would be. Like I would make that decision, but it would not be in the best interest of my friend, right? So we got to go back to, as cybersecurity professionals, we need to be concerned with the infrastructure that we're defending. It can't just be, hey, I needed some bucks in my pocket. Because if it goes left, then I'm impacting, like, this is your friend's business. Okay. All right. So are you willing to, even though they overestimated your capability, as you rightfully stated is happening, the other part of friendship is like really like understanding how to say no and step away. But again, if we're talking about 3 or 4 machines, like that's different, right?
Said that like 40
But
employees, so
right. I mean, like some people could lose their job, their social security, or not social security number, but their credit cards might be at play. Like I don't know what type of endpoints. We need to know a little bit more information.
yep. Awesome. Well, let's wrap that question up. Awesome. So let me get this down. And that is our cybersecurity Q&A for the month of December. Shout out to everyone.
Thanks for everybody who showed up. Next, cybersecurity Q&A. I think we should have some friends. I got some friends in mind that I think will be really great fits to share some of the information that we're looking to get from people in the field and passing that down to people who are looking to get into the field. And by that time, I think Sox University is probably gonna it should be up and ready to cut on the faucet.
That's what I was going
Uh,
to say. I think that on our next one, if it's a month from now, Sox University should be launched by then, I believe.
it will be launched. It will be 2 days or 1 day old at that point in time.
Yeah, if we keep the schedule, it should be 1 day old by that time. I was trying
It'll
to
be
do the
1
math.
day old. Yeah,
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
We're sticking to our sprint, sir. I need a scrum master, though. I need a scrum master.
I play one every other Sunday, so. Something I'd like to do, if get someone new into the field, like you were mentioning, like some junior analysts and stuff like that, to find out about like what their day looks like. Maybe that'll be a good thing to, if you can do that like on your channel,
Mhm.
to talk about like what is it like for a junior analyst, like what is their day to day like, what do they do? I'm curious myself.
Cool. I'll see what I can do. Of course, you guys know that I'm working in spaces that don't have windows, so
Yep,
um,
that's definitely true.
we'll get we'll see. But I have a lot of friends. I got a lot of people who are new in the cyber field, so I'm definitely open as long as they are to sharing their journey and their path, and that should open up some really great conversation for us all.
Yeah, I think I'd love to hear like with Green KC as well, like what how their day is structured. We already know that it's hybrid, 3 days in the office, 2 days from home or remote, so I'm just like curious about like because I know how my day is in my role, but just curious like how some other people's days are. But with that being said, we are done for the night. It is 10 o'clock. We've been live with you. So Socks has been live with you for 2 hours. I've been here for 2.5 hours with you. What a night. What a night. So I want to give a thank you and a round of applause to our good friend Socks. Great job,
Thank
Socks.
you for
Great
having me.
job.
I appreciate you.
Really appreciate you. Well, I'm gonna let you go then, Socks. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk afterwards.
Thanks for your time, and we'll be gone. Peace out.
All right. So that is our show for tonight. Let me check my chat one more time before we wrap it up. And yeah, Green Casey, you are totally right. That is a tough spot to be in. And you also said, I love that you guys are consistent. And yeah, I wouldn't mind going over my daily process. All right, cool. I'm not sure we're connected, but send me an email. You can send it to Ralph at techcoachingwithralph.com. And yeah, I want to talk to you a little bit more to find out about that so we can get that underway. All right. So this has been a very long night, but we got a lot done tonight. So thank you so much for everyone to be here. Let me see some final announcements before we get out of here. Tomorrow we have Cloud Security Engineer breakdown overview that's coming out at noon. It's already scheduled to premiere, so definitely check that out. Already click on it, hit the notification bell so you can know that when it premieres. Thursday, we're going to be going over Grafana. We're going to be setting that up so we can see like how to use logs and stuff like that. So very similar to Splunk if you guys are interested. And that is about it. And then we have some more clips from last month's Q&A show coming out throughout the week. So definitely tune in for that. And tomorrow morning, of course, be live tomorrow morning. We're gonna do something. Hopefully we can find some more of these CTFs, all that good stuff. My good old pal,
good guy,
this awesome stream tonight. Thank you so much, good guy. Thank you so much. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. But as always, I have one final question for you, the chat out there.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
All right, but on that note, I will check you guys later.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.